Well, tonight we were just learning just what those San Bernardino police officers face as they arrived at the Inland Regional Center in the middle of all that carnage.
And one man who knows exactly what those officers are going through is J.T. Turner, a former SWAT officer who spent 23 years with the San Bernardino Police Department. He joins us tonight to give us a better idea of what those officers went through. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
You know, first of all, JT, we know that you know one of the lieutenants over there, Lieutenant Mike Madden with the San Bernardino PD. He gave a very emotional testimony, if you will, about what happened yesterday. And we want to play just a little bit of that first and then have you respond, if you don't mind.
Okay.
We had approximately, I estimated in talking with the other officers who were with me, probably 50 people responded past us and out the doors. And then we went further into the building, and that was a difficult choice to have to make as well, passing people that we knew were injured and needed assistance. But our goal at that time had to be trying to locate the shooters and deal with them before we could get further assistance in for those people in need of medical attention.
JT, what's going through your mind as you hear Lieutenant Madden?
Well, I can only imagine the level of stress. We put all the guys through training. The SWAT team is responsible for training all the officers with active shooter since the beginning. We try to make it as real as possible. We use simunition rounds, which actually hurt when they hit you like a paintball. But there's only so much you can simulate. And when you're going through a door and it's the real deal, and the smells and all the things that you see, and the fact that you're doing something totally different than you would normally do, you're used to going and helping people right away. You have to go past them no matter what their conditions are. You have to go look for an unknown. You're working with people that you may not ever work with before. And so understanding that your job as a contact team is to go find the suspect inside this building, you have to do that particular job. And no matter what you do, it becomes that much more difficult when you start getting your fire alarms and things like this. These are things that which affect your communication amongst team members. And so it's just a lot to deal with. And I know Mike very well. And I know he's a super solid officer, and we trained together and went through this training together.
One of the first people on the scene there, if I recall what he was saying today in that press conference. Now, Lieutenant Madden also talked about the training that they go through versus what they actually saw, so take a listen to that.
As we entered into the conference room, the situation was surreal. It was something that I don't think, again, we prepare for, and they try to, an active shooter, we talk about sensory overload, they just try to throw everything at you to prepare you for dealing with that. What you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're smelling, and it was all of that and more. It was unspeakable, the carnage that we were seeing, the number of people who were injured and unfortunately already dead, and the pure panic on the face of those individuals that were still in need and needing to be safe.
And on top of all that, I understand an errant bullet had hit the fire extinguisher, or hit the fire alarm, and then so the sprinklers were running on top of all this inside there. Can we imagine exactly what happened? And go back to the training, doesn't really completely fully prepare you for that.
No. We work with noise. Sometimes we'll bring a big boom box in and turn it up high blast. These things will, like I said, affect your communication and how you're working. It's a little different. It's SWAT. You're dealing with people who work with you all the time, who are used to shooting next to each other. We also understand that working side by side, you can go silent signal if necessary to do certain things. You're very impaired in working with people you don't know.
Yeah, you say that this does not prepare you, all the training, but certainly the training comes in handy because since Columbine, he was talking about how important it was since Columbine to have that training, right? Oh,
extremely important. It gets everybody on the page. It's one of those things where our department not only trained our guys, but we trained CHP, the school police, so everyone has an idea of how to work this thing together. And you can push through it and push through it. We can make it as difficult as we can, but the fact that you're going past people when you're used to helping people is a very, very difficult thing to do.
Okay, Johnny Turner, retired with the San Bernardino Police Department SWAT Officer. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and for the insight. Thank you so much.
Thanks for your service, JT. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Still ahead, we're going to learn more about the massacre victims, including a Jewish